So I was just wanted to get into some of the things that seem to be clouding, how to go forward. Mostly, it's because people don't understand church history, and some of the things I speak of probably go over their head. And so it really does take some. It's going to take a lot of time doing the research and then illustrating it in such a way that these names don't go flying over your head because you have the Simicans, you have Rufinus, you have Eusebius or Eusebius, you have Origen, you have the Church Fathers, Saint Jerome, Saint Augustine of Hippo. Where's Hippo? It's in Algeria. Where was Saint Jerome? In Bethlehem. What was going on? What were the political things that were going on? There was not agreement in the early church. There was a lot of backbiting going on. There was a lot of political maneuvering happening, and I guess what I'm getting at here is that when you go through and you start to take apart or look at the history of this, it's much deeper than what's on the surface. And this is why it's really easy for people to just throw accusations and say things, because it's like politics. Most of the masses, most of the people are the uninformed public. They're just sheep. They don't know anything. And a lot of them are arrogant, and they just spout. And then they look at you like, well, you don't know it. It's almost like like politics, where you got smearing going on. It happens now. It happens then. But what I'm proposing, and I don't know, I'm just throwing this idea out there for anyone who wants to do a hangout or get together, a round table. And so what am I speaking of? I'd really like to, and I don't know if you want to do this, Luke, or not, or how I can set this up. But I'd love to do like several hangouts or several talks on history, on church history. So let's say we take some part of history, like or peoples, like who were the Ebionites, who were the Stoics, who were who were the Monetists, who were these people, who how did Eusebius, if we look at the commentaries on the Book of Galatians done by Saint Jerome and the ones done by Victorinus, if we actually took like a week, but we could do a program a week, but not only that, it would form a consensus between brothers where we could get out a book that can show very clearly and concisely the history of this. So if I had a few people who are interested in doing some research and looking into these things as much as I look into them and even further, where we can do like a roundtable discussion, and we'll have a roundtable discussion on Gaius Marius, or on Saint Augustine, who he was, what we could dig up on him, how it relates to James the Just. There's so much to be said for the ascents of James. We could do a whole week on what were the ascents of James. These are things that need to be illustrated. These are the deeper things that people have no clue about, and I think it would be very interesting for us to go into the writings of the church fathers to get a sense of who they were, what they were doing at the time, what they believed in, and how the things that they said were shaped by the happenings and the culture and what was happening at the time. Anyway, if anybody wants to comment on this or would like to get involved in starting to do some research on some of these things and actually picking a subject and then doing a whole hangout on just one subject, focusing on a church father or a situation or even a teaching. There was tons of teachings on different heresies, how they were compared to frogs and snakes, and there is so much more to the Bible and to Bible history and church history than meets the eye. It's much bigger, and that's just the New Testament. Let me suggest to you the Mishnah, Maimonides. Let's take a look at Rashi. The Torah, the Talmud Torah, all of this stuff. You see, this is a very deep subject. It's much, much bigger than most people who go to church and think they know what they're talking about even think. They're only what they know about the scriptures could fill a thimble. What they know about church history, what they know about the Bible, what they know about anything. Most people, just about all of us, it's a very small amount compared to the mountain of information that's out there. And it's very interesting. Thank you.